digital marketing for HVAC and home service businesses.
Strategies and stories from industry experts to help you succeed.
We'll segue here. I'm here with Mark, elite custom home builder out of Fargo, North Dakota, serving Fargo and the surrounding area. And Mark, welcome to the show. You're welcome. It's great to have you as a guest. I thought it'd be cool. Most people like to hear stories, and I think it'd be awesome if you could share with the audience how we met and kind of how we got to know each other over the last few months.
Sure. So I've been working in the home building industry for a couple of years now. And I just kind of got to the point where I did some marketing, and I didn't really know what to do. So I kind of figured out the route to go was, to do some web design. My website was just off GoDaddy, kind of outdated, very basic, didn't really set me apart. So I kind of decided, I should probably spend some money on a new website. And I was kind of looking around the Fargo-Moorhead area, asking a few people. After the recommendations, I reached out to a few people. They talked to me, and everything kind of just seemed like you're just a number. They're going to give you your website and then see you later. So I kept on asking around, and then turns out that we had a mutual friend. Obviously, we didn't know at the time. So talking to him a little bit, he just knows tons and tons of people. So I know I'm just like talking to him one day, and I'm like, anyone that does web design? And he's just like, at first he goes, I don't know. And then he's just like, I'll let you know. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, oh yeah. And then he made the connection, got us connected. I know we chit-chatted a few times. And then kind of we were on our way after that first meeting. Kind of what I thought from you guys is it seems like you guys care about your customers a lot more than other people. And you care about what I'm trying to sell in my message. More than what I saw from other people is kind of why I went with you guys.
Oh, appreciate the insight there, the story about how we met, and then chimed in why you went with us. We definitely try to keep the end game in mind. We're not building the website just to build you a website. We're doing it to produce an outcome, and we want to stay involved with the people we work with and keep up with the story about how what we built for you is serving you. And then our friend Luke, who introduced us, we met back in, I want to say it was probably like over 10 years ago. It might have been like 2013, 2014. And we've stayed in touch over the years. And then I got to go say hi to him in Santa Barbara. I have an uncle in Santa Barbara, and got to hear what he's up to with his world. He was working a lot with dogs and different stuff. And he's into hunting and outdoor stuff. And it sounds like you said you have a dog, you have a border collie, and this hat I had on one time, you remarked saying you like the hat. So you like to fish, hunt, stuff like that? Or how do you and Luke stay up to speed and connect?
Well, how Luke and I know it, I don't hunt a lot, but it's funny that you say that hat. Actually, he has a bunch of cups at his parents' house in DL, and I think that logo is actually on one of them, cool. Which I thought I'm like, I kind of made that connection. That's kind of ironic, but anyways, I know him from probably, I think we were sophomores in high school. We were both on the swim team. He lived in a different city. He ended up actually living with me for a summer. And then we just, we really bonded and we had a good connection, and we've just been lifelong friends ever since. I think it's not that we have a ton of hobbies in common, that our personalities just match really well.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's funny how just having conversation and letting people know what we're looking for, whether it's a service or a product, and how our community will show up and connect us with the right people. So, in the home space, I remember you sharing that's kind of how things got started for you. As far as the first people you built a custom home for and stuff like that, referrals, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
The first one was just from a coworker. And moving forward, I've just kind of found out that, while the websites and the marketing are a very, very important aspect of it, nothing's better than word of mouth when it comes to building a house. And that's kind of how I've gotten some additional leads thus far before, updating and doing some marketing on that is just, we build the first home, they tell their friends, they tell their friends, they tell their friends. And pretty soon, you got, 10, 20 people coming and asking you for help or suggestions or pricing out a home from, they're not all going to go, but, the more numbers, the better.
Yeah, totally. And the referral marketing is when they have a website or an Instagram or somewhere to actually go check you out and it's polished and professional, then it turns into more of those referrals actually having conversations with you rather than they got the name of a guy and a phone number and then their only option was to give you a call, where nowadays people like to kind of look at what you have going on maybe before they pick up the phone sometimes. And
right before I had the website, I was a little hesitant to tell people, hey, go check out my website. This is what I do. Now I'm excited about it. I'm like, that's the first thing I do. I'm like, if they want to know about me, go check out my website. Before that, I'm like, well, call me and talk to me and I'll give you the whole spiel. Now that tells the story. Like I said, and I'm excited about it. I tell people about it, the new website, and
awesome.
So it's a fun thing.
Oh, thanks. What would you say some of the biggest challenges you faced when deciding to start your own business, specifically Paragon Homes? I know it's likely that some listeners that we have for the podcast will probably be facing a similar challenge soon or already have, and I think we can all learn from each other's experience there.
Right. Really, it was just, I was just starting from scratch and I always kind of wanted to do it on my own. A lot of people will reach out to investors and people that have done it in the past and in all reality, that is the easier route. But then at the same time, the business, it's not your business because there's other people making decisions, pushing you in one direction, where like I said, I kind of had to figure it out on my own, go to the Secretary of State, get that stuff all figured out. What kind of licensing did I need in North Dakota and Minnesota? I live right on the border, so I have to get licensed in two different states where, in Minnesota, I got to go take a 4-hour test just to build houses. In North Dakota, I just register, let them know that I have experience with it. And then they give me my license. So those two things. Then you got to keep your education updated in Minnesota. I think it's 2 hours every 2 years. You got to keep on the continuing education for that contractor's license. So just figuring that stuff out, kind of navigating that. I do have some good connections. I got a good friend that's an accountant, and then just building that team. That I don't know about a lot of that stuff, but what I try and do is I find out the people that do know about that. So I'm not sitting there wasting tons of time, with the accounting, with the legality stuff. I'm focused on building quality homes. So that's always kind of been my motto is it's like, I don't need to know everything and I shouldn't know everything, but it's good to know the people that do.
Yeah, totally. Completely agree. And then, so the logistics and the paperwork aspect of things sounds like that was one of the initial challenges. It's kind of just something you're not doing on a regular basis, but just kind of getting it done and, not procrastinating. That sounds like the challenge that needed overcome.
Yeah. It was just a matter of just getting over that hump. You sit around there and you think about it and how awesome it'd be to have your own business and work on your own. And it's just a matter of just getting up and doing it,
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. On another podcast, there's a guy he's in the tree business. And he said the way that he got started is he told someone who was in that business that he wanted to do it. And the guy told him, all right, well, the best way to get started is to get your butt up into a tree. And then he gave him a list of 3 things to go buy so he could have his own equipment and work as a subcontractor, because he learned to be a subcontractor, you have to use your own equipment. And that's how he got started. So that sentiment's ringing true on another podcast as well, to just get started.
Yeah. I think a lot of people that just don't understand, like, you're going to regret it if you don't try. It's like, yeah, you might fail, but I think it's a bigger disappointment if you don't even try.
True that. Next question I had here for us is, in your market, how do you differentiate Paragon Homes from larger competitors? with bigger marketing budgets and, I know a little bit about that because we went through the process together, but I'd love to hear it in your words rather than in my marketing jargon.
Sure. I'd say just the customer service and just kind of the style in which I am going to help you build your home. Like I mentioned it before to you, I want to be an extension of them. I don't want to sit there and tell them what they can and can't do on their house. They're the ones, it's their house. I just want to be the one that, these are some contractors that you can use, and I want to guide them in the right direction. But ultimately, they're kind of the ones driving the ship. And obviously, I'm going to be there to help them steer and make sure that they don't make any wrong moves, and let them know I have my input as well. But that's kind of the difference between me and other guys. A lot of other guys, they won't let you go in and do the flooring on your house if they're building it, where it's like, I want you to do that. I want you to put your mark on your house. So that's kind of my style.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a few things that you've shared with me, getting to know your kind of sales flow, and part of what we do in marketing is kind of let them know what the road ahead looks like and paint that picture of what it's like to work with you. And you've communicated so many things that you've decided to do differently to take care of the customer, like your pricing model, using transparency, making it not really difficult for someone to make some changes or tweaks once the structure, the framing of the house is up. You said people sometimes come inside and then they get more ideas, and if they want to change their mind or something, if the other people have pricing models set up where they're kind of backed into a corner about making changes, and you have a system set up to provide space for them to make those custom modifications without gouging them on the price.
Yeah, that's kind of that's that open book policy, where a lot of people, I think one of their biggest fears when they're building a house is, they think, I'm like, is this guy screwing me over? Is this guy running into the bank with my money? And the way I do it with the markup, it's you're not. I'm showing you, the change orders that the subcontractors are sending me, that I'm paying them, and then we're marking that up, the agreed upon fee. But a lot of other home builders, they don't show you anything. They just say, okay, you want a backsplash in there, that's an extra $4,000. Well, it's like, well, I'm going to show you the quote from the tile guy, then I'm going to mark it up, that agreed upon amount, where typically, we're going to be at that, 7 to 10% on the markup there. So that takes away a lot of that questioning. And in all reality, it's like, that's all a general contractor needs to make on those, I think. And it's just like a lot of people have gotten scared just because of what other contractors have been doing in the past.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I have a family member whose contractor's been a contractor for a long time, and he spoke about some of these similar aspects. And he started just building the houses on his own, using his guys, and build out a team and stuff like that. And he's not doing custom homes anymore. He did some custom homes a long time ago, but now he kind of has something he's perfected, and he just builds that, and people like to buy those. But he shared some similar stories about how he really wasn't able to figure out a model like you have to accommodate for all those custom jobs. And part of it was having quality subcontractors for some of these custom projects that people wanted to infuse into the property. So I wanted to ask, how do you keep good subcontractors and provide like quality assurance to your to the homeowners, to the people who are getting that house built? I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Sure. So I've grown up in the Fargo-Moorhead area my entire life. Went to school in Montana for a few years, but I've gained a lot of connections throughout the years. My brother's an electrician. I live right down the street from the guy that I like to use for HVAC. It's just weeding them out throughout the years and just kind of getting those guys that you like. And I'll be completely honest with you, there's a lot more out there that I haven't used that may be very good too. And I try and reach out to everyone and give them a pricing opportunity And then, like I said, ultimately, like, I'm going to show you, the customer the bids. And like, if you want to go with someone, that might be a little bit cheaper that I haven't used before, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to say, hey, well, I trust that they might be a good contractor, but there's the risk that I haven't used them before. So just kind of giving that flexibility with homeowners. But no, I've just built a really good core group of subcontractors that are, they're a lot like me. They're low overhead. They want to make sure that the customer is getting what they want. A lot of communication, and yeah, that's how we keep the costs down. Is like I said, low overhead, and they just do good work. A lot of the owners of the companies are the ones doing the work on the house, and and that's an important thing when their company's stamp is on it.
Yeah, totally. And then what about the seasonality to your business, being located where you're at and dealing with the weather and some different things like that? Can you paint a picture a little bit to, some other people who might be in places in the Northeast or up north there where there's some winter to get through and maybe it isn't ideal time to build? How do you view the workflow as far as the calendar year?
Sure. So here, we're usually May to November. That's your dig time when you can actually dig a foundation. In all reality, other than that, once you get all your concrete in and your hardscapes in, you're pretty much in the clear building vertically. But that can be an issue a lot of times. Like I said, the frost is the main thing. People will work through, it gets to negative 20, 30, 40 degrees around here. People are going to work through that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there are ways around it. You can ground thaw if you're in the real cold parts of winter where there actually is ice in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But there are expenses to that, which on a smaller scale, like a residential house, it's usually not going to be feasible to do that ground thaw. So typically your build seasons are going to be through that, like I said, that May to November. It does fluctuate from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing is, you come up to Fargo, North Dakota here, and guys that are in concrete and earthwork, they're going to be working, 6 days a week, 10-hour days, because they're going to get laid off during the winter. They're not going to be doing anything. So it does get busy from that aspect. A lot of people just try and get their foundations in the ground before November, and then you'll be in the clear with the framing and the rest of the work after you're above ground.
Oh, good to know. And then what about inquiries? Is there a flow that you've seen as far as when people when people are most likely to reach out, like a time of year that is busier, or you see more projects getting started in the area? Your subcontractors are busier.
Yeah, it's definitely, the winters definitely get a little bit slow around here. So that's when people are starting to think about building a house. And that's when people move around here. Springtime's a lot more busy with people moving from house to house. And in turn, that's when people are starting to think about, well, maybe we want to build rather than, move into a house. So that's kind of when the inquiries increase from a residential standpoint. And that's when people like myself try and get what we call our backlog or jobs for that next upcoming year. So you can kind of anticipate what your workload's going to be like. So that's kind of a winter's slow down. It's kind of, regather your thoughts or your business there, and then kind of hit the ground running in the spring, because like I said, it's, May to November, that's not a lot of months to be building.
Yeah. And then I know you're passionate about delivering exceptional customer experience. How do you go about in ensuring that the customer walks away satisfied? With all these things to account for when building a home, managing maybe the timeline, the expectation of when things are going to be complete, staying on time, possibly working in contractors that they want to use with the ones that you've already vetted. What's that process like where, if you're building my house, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm checking in along the way. And then I'm kind of curious about, hey, when can I move in? And what is that transition like? What is that final walkthrough like before, I have the keys and I'm getting my family in there?
Sure. So I try and do that with just constant communications, whether it be through texting, phone calls, emails, just constantly letting people know, just, give them a weekly update, what you should expect on the job site during that given week. And if anything changes, just let them know on what's going on. It's most of the time people are going to be like checking out of themselves, but it's like people, they have to work during the day too. So I just try and let them know, send them pictures, just kind of keep them updated on what's going on. And then as far as like coordinating the any additional work with that, I just give them a heads up. It's everything's got to go in the order that it's got to go in. You're not painting walls before you're finishing the drywall. So just communicating that and making sure that they're not slowing the house down either. So a lot of things people want to do. There are some things that I just advise them not to do. Just like a lot of people want to paint. It's just like, okay, you're going to come in there and paint. You're going to paint with a roller. It's going to have a little bit of a different look than someone that's going to come in and do it with a commercial sprayer. And they're not expensive. They're going to be in and out in a day. You're going to be there for a week. So that's probably not the best way to do your own thing on the house. But no, I'd say that those are my main things, is just the open communication and just letting people know then that the end of the process looks like once it's all said and done and everyone's all happy with the way things have turned out. We do a punch list walkthrough. So you go through, you take a blue roll of painter's tape, any nicks, dings, any deficiencies for any of the installs that the owner sees could be fixed. We go through that, and I send the contractors through another time. They get that all fixed. Say a light switch doesn't work or an outlet's not working, that all stuff gets adjusted. And we walk away with that. And then after that, provide a 1-year warranty. Anything happens from the point that we walk away, then we'll come back and fix it. Typically do an 11-month walkthrough to make sure you're getting ahead of it by 4 weeks before that 1-year warranty comes up, and then you have a month to fix that stuff, and everyone walks away happy. But ideally you don't have a punch list. That's the goal.
Yeah. And I mean that 11-month walkthrough to make sure if there's anything that needs addressed, that's getting taken care of. I haven't built a custom home, but I doubt that's common practice. That seems like an exceptional customer service aspect of things, to actually make sure people are checked on before it expires, rather than, I feel like I've purchased things in the past where I almost feel like they're crossing their fingers, hoping they don't hear from me in the next 2 weeks because the warranty's coming up on my car or, something else I bought. Is that common?
Yeah, it is. Well, I would say it is in my experience. I come from a commercial background where that's how I've always operated. But I will tell you, if you go onto Google and you look at the home builder and you look at their low reviews, say the 1-2 star reviews, it's all warranty stuff. It's all stuff that happens after once they're done. They have what's called the taillight warranty. Once you see their taillights, they're not coming back. So that's another way that I want to be above and beyond other home builders. And like I said, it is a warranty, so we want to honor that. I don't see why you wouldn't.
And is that like, let's just say, I hear parts and labor when it comes to warranties a lot. How does that work with the warranty you're describing?
So the parts and labor, all equipment has a standard warranty on it, and that's going to be from the manufacturer. So they'll cover any of that. And then most subcontractors will cover their labor warranty. So if something's defective because of the way that it was installed or something they did, then they'll fix it. Obviously, with that warranty, we're not going to come back and fix stuff that was damaged by the homeowner, say you punched a hole in the wall or something like that. That's above and beyond a standard warranty.
When you said punched a hole in the wall, it made me think of when I was much younger and my friends were as well and not as wise. I showed up at a buddy's house and there were holes in the wall, and he told me he was he got ahead of himself and started redecorating last night. I was like, okay, okay.
We might put a picture over there for him, but not fix it.
yeah. I hear you. Let me take a look here. I made a list of things to make sure we touch on today. I love this question. What is your vision for the future of Paragon Homes? Where do you want to see your business in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, we have something called what's the best of the Red River Valley. That's the best of the best in town, voted on by consumers. I want to be number one on that list, and I want to be just a household builder name that people are coming to trust. And I want to have all 5 stars on my Google reviews.
Awesome. I love hearing that. So best of the Red River Valley. Is that something people, get nominated for? Do you have to enter a contest? How does it work?
That's just voted on by consumers. So that's just a matter of just, you're doing the networking you need to do and getting enough people to vote for you. So obviously that comes with the more builds you're doing and the more word of mouth that's spread out there. But that is my goal. So
nice. Well, best of the Red River Valley is where we got our sites. Love to hear that. And then finally, I'd say last question is, what's the best way for listeners to learn more about Paragon Homes and see the work you've done? I think we touched on it a little bit, but just want to give you the platform to give people the message where they should go to learn more about Paragon Homes and get in contact with you.
One, I would say go to the new website, paragonhomesfm.com, and then 2, reach out to me. I'm glad to meet with you guys and explain the process a little bit more. And that's what I always tell everyone. It's just like, if I have an opportunity to reach out and talk to someone, I'm confident that they're going to go with me.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I hop on your website. I'm going to click to get an estimate. You're going to get my contact information. I'm probably, from there, we're going to set up some time to meet or to call. Do you usually do a phone call and then meet up in person at like a coffee shop or something? What's the next steps like after I hop on your website or give you a call?
Yep. So once you give me a call, we can set something up if you're still interested in taking a look at that. I'll explain the process a little bit more. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit more about budget, where you want to build, see if there's any land that you have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything works out, we'll kind of go from there. And then we'll start designing the house. And then we're off to the races with the rest of the process, picking out the finishes and getting the house going. Like I said, time-wise, if you want to do that here yet this year, I think we're filling up here pretty quick. So I'd say a couple months left. And that's kind of how it goes.
Nice. Lastly, any parting words for entrepreneurs or ambitious people in the construction or building business that are thinking about starting their own business or going out on their own? Any insight?
Yes, I'd say don't wait. One of my biggest regrets is I'm 35 years old and I didn't start sooner. Mm-hmm. I'd say just go for it.
Just go for it. Awesome. Well, Mark, thanks for jumping on the podcast. The OUTWORK'em Podcast is super thankful to have your insight. And if you need to get in contact with Mark, paragonhomesfm.com. Also, he has a Google Business profile. You can give him a call there and he'll be in touch.
I appreciate it.